My GF wrote, "I'm having a baby. But it's not from you." I answered, "Felicitations to the actual father then." Then I blocked her profile and delivered a "sorry for your new burden" card to the person she identified. She was urgently trying to reach me through Acquaintances, insisting she made a blunder. I'm Jake, 34, software architect making decent money in Austin's tech scene. 4 years with Sophia felt like building something solid until her message detonated everything I thought I knew about our relationship. The notification popped up on my phone while I was debugging code at my downtown loft office. Instagram DM from Sophia, which was weird since she was supposed to be at work across town. "Jake, I need to tell you something important. I'm pregnant. But it's not yours. It's Derek's from our hiking group. I'm so sorry. We need to talk." My coffee went cold as I read it twice, then 3 times, waiting for the words to rearrange themselves into something that made sense. Derek Martinez, the cybersecurity guy from her startup who joined our weekend hiking adventures 6 months ago. The same Derek who'd been increasingly friendly with Sophia during our group outings, always offering to share his trail mix or help her navigate difficult terrain while I focused on the actual hiking. I could have called her screaming. Could have driven to her office for a public confrontation. Could have texted paragraphs of hurt and betrayal. Instead, I typed back, "Felicitations to the actual father then." Block contact. Block number. Block Instagram. Block Facebook. Block everything. 4 years of relationship ended with the clinical precision I used to isolate buggy code. The beauty of being a software architect is learning to compartmentalize problems and execute systematic solutions without emotional contamination affecting your logic. 30 minutes of LinkedIn investigation revealed Derek worked 3 floors up from Sophia in the same building, which explained their convenient opportunities for whatever had been developing behind my back. His profile showed he was single, no mention of any girlfriend, and recently promoted to lead cybersecurity analyst. Perfect target for my response strategy. I spent the rest of the day researching premium stationery shops in Austin, finally selecting a place downtown that specialized in elegant business correspondence and sympathy cards. The next morning, I visited Sterling Paper Company and spent 20 minutes selecting the perfect sympathy card. Cream-colored stock, embossed border, tasteful typography. Nothing flashy or dramatic, just sophisticated formality that would stand out in an office environment. Inside, I wrote in my best handwriting, "Heard about your unexpected new burden and lifetime commitment. My deepest sympathies for this permanent life change. Respectfully, Jake Morrison." Sealed it in their premium envelope, wrote Derek's full name and office address in formal calligraphy, and arranged same-day courier delivery with "urgent personal matter" marked clearly on the front. The courier confirmed delivery at 2:47 p.m. to Derek's desk personally. I imagined him opening it in front of colleagues, reading my message, and realizing that someone knew about his situation and had taken the time to send formal condolences to his office. Not threatening, not angry, just a perfectly appropriate sympathy card for someone receiving life-changing news. The kind of card that would generate questions from coworkers who might glimpse it, creating exactly the type of professional awkwardness that someone in cybersecurity would want to avoid. By evening, my phone was buzzing with unknown numbers trying to call me. Text messages from random accounts appeared faster than I could block them. "Jake, please call me back. I need to explain everything. It was a mistake. You're being cruel." All ignored, all blocked, all irrelevant. The irony wasn't lost on me that Sophia, who'd always criticized my methodical approach to problems, was now experiencing the full force of systematic thinking applied to relationship termination. While she scrambled to manage emotional chaos, I was already 3 steps ahead, treating her betrayal like any other project requiring efficient resource allocation and risk management. My LinkedIn showed multiple connection requests from people I didn't recognize, probably her friends trying to gather intelligence or establish communication channels. Each request got declined without review. The voicemails on my work phone started the next morning, increasingly desperate voices claiming to be family members or mutual friends who needed to discuss urgent matters. Delete, delete, delete. 4 years of shared experiences didn't earn someone the right to explanations after announcing they're pregnant with another man's child via social media message. The clinical precision of my response was already generating the exact type of controlled chaos I'd anticipated, while I remained completely insulated from the emotional fallout by maintaining systematic boundaries she couldn't breach through any conventional channels. I owned my downtown loft completely, mortgage and title in my name alone, purchased 3 years ago when Austin's tech boom made homeownership actually feasible for someone with my salary. Sophia moved in 2 years later after we'd been dating long enough for cohabitation to seem natural, but she'd never contributed to mortgage payments, property taxes, or insurance premiums. Her financial contributions consisted of splitting groceries, buying occasional decorative pillows, and maintaining the collection of expensive succulents that now needed immediate removal along with everything else she'd accumulated in my space. Taking a half-day off work, I contacted Davidson Security Solutions and scheduled same-day service to change all electronic door codes and upgrade the existing camera system with additional entry point coverage. The locksmith arrived at 2 p.m., a professional guy named Marcus who didn't ask questions when I explained I needed complete access control modification due to a relationship termination. Standard procedure, he said, installing new smart locks and programming fresh codes. Happens more often than you'd think. While Marcus worked, I systematically photographed every room from multiple angles, documenting the current state before beginning Sophia's belongings extraction process. Her stuff filled 12 large boxes once properly organized. Clothes from the walk-in closet, electronics she'd brought from her previous apartment, books about lifestyle optimization and wellness trends, toiletries from our shared bathroom, and those damn succulents that required special handling to prevent damage. I labeled each box clearly with contents and stacked them in the building's secure lobby area, a climate-controlled space monitored by security cameras where residents could safely store items for pickup. The building management confirmed they'd hold packages for 48 hours before donating unclaimed items to local charities, which gave me the perfect deadline structure. Instead of calling or texting, I sent one email to Sophia's work address, knowing she checked it obsessively throughout the day. Your belongings are organized in the lobby of 1247 Congress Avenue, boxes labeled with your name. Building security has been notified to expect your pickup. You have 48 hours before items are donated to charity per building policy. Access codes have been changed. Do not attempt entry to the unit. Professional tone, no emotion, just logistical information delivered with the same efficiency I'd use for any project handoff documentation. The building's concierge, Maria, had worked there for 5 years and knew both of us by sight. When I explained the situation, she nodded with understanding. I'll make sure she gets her things but doesn't cause problems in the lobby, Maria said. We've had situations like this before. Security will escort her if needed. Having professional support systems in place felt reassuring, like having proper backup protocols for critical system failures. The cameras would document everything, building management would enforce policies, and I could remain completely removed from any potential drama Sophia might attempt during pickup. By evening, the loft felt different, cleaner somehow, with Sophia's clutter removed and my own belongings properly arranged. The space looked more like the bachelor pad I'd originally designed, minimalist and functional, with room for the home office expansion I'd been planning. Her succulents were probably already dying in those boxes, which seemed appropriate given how quickly she'd killed 4 years of relationship growth with a single Instagram message. The systematic approach to ending cohabitation was generating the same satisfaction I felt when debugging complex code, removing problematic elements until everything functioned smoothly again. My phone continued buzzing with blocked numbers, but the building's security system provided complete insulation from physical intrusion attempts, leaving Sophia with no viable access routes to force unwanted confrontations or dramatic reconciliation scenes. Sophia's desperation escalated predictably, starting with her sister Emma showing up at my office building Tuesday afternoon. Emma taught yoga classes at some trendy studio downtown and apparently believed her conflict resolution training qualified her as a relationship mediator. Building security called my desk extension before allowing her upstairs. There's an Emma Rodriguez here requesting to speak with you about a family emergency, the guard said. I knew immediately this was Sophia's opening gambit in what would become a prolonged siege campaign. "Tell her I'm unavailable and ask her to leave contact information," I replied. Through my office window 20 floors up, I watched Emma exit the building 15 minutes later, clearly frustrated by her inability to gain access. The next morning brought voicemails on my work phone from Linda Rodriguez, Sophia's mother, a retired school principal who spoke with the authoritative tone of someone accustomed to dealing with difficult children. "Jake, this is Linda. I raised 2 daughters and I know pregnancy hormones can cause temporary insanity. Sophia made a terrible mistake, but family means forgiveness and working through problems together. Call me back so we can discuss this situation like adults." The irony of being lectured about adult behavior by the mother of a woman who announced her infidelity via Instagram was almost amusing. Delete voicemail, block number, document the contact attempt. Building security informed me that Emma had returned twice, claiming she had legal documents to deliver, which was obviously false since no papers were served and she wasn't a licensed process server. "We told her she needs to schedule appointments through proper channels," Maria said. "She got pretty upset about our policies." Thursday brought the revelation that Sophia had been attempting to enter the building using Derek's access card. Security footage showed her at the side entrance at 11:47 p.m., fumbling with a key card that granted access but triggered an alert since it was being used for unauthorized entry attempts. Derek lived on the 7th floor, 3 floors up from my loft, which meant he'd given Sophia his building access either willingly or she'd taken it without permission. Either scenario demonstrated additional layers of betrayal and poor judgment that validated my complete communication shutdown. The system logs show multiple failed attempts to access the 4th floor using a 7th floor residence card, Maria explained, reviewing the security reports with professional thoroughness. "That's a clear violation of building policies. We've disabled that card temporarily and will require the resident to come explain the situation before reactivating it." Derek's access problems would create awkward questions he'd have to answer with building management, generating exactly the type of administrative hassle that would make him reconsider whatever arrangement he had with Sophia. By Friday, Sophia had created at least 3 fake social media profiles that I discovered when LinkedIn notifications showed connection requests from Jessica Martinez and Ashley Chin, accounts with generic stock photos and minimal information that were obviously designed to establish communication channels. Each profile got immediately blocked and reported for impersonation, but their existence confirmed Sophia was escalating her attempts at contact through increasingly desperate measures. Her friends started appearing on my company's public social media posts, leaving comments that seemed innocuous but were clearly intended to get my attention. The harassment reached peak desperation when I returned from lunch to find a food delivery bag sitting on my desk with my name on it, containing expensive Thai food from Sophia's favorite restaurant downtown. The delivery receipt showed it had been ordered to my office address with a note attached. "Your favorite pad Thai, extra spicy like you always order. I remember everything about what you like. Please just call me back. We need to talk about this situation. I made a terrible mistake but we can work through it." The manipulative nostalgia combined with public workplace delivery was clearly designed to create awkward questions from colleagues who might witness the gesture and pressure me to respond out of social courtesy. I threw the entire bag in my office trash bin without opening the containers, then sent an email to building security requesting they screen all food deliveries to verify legitimate orders before allowing them upstairs. The systematic documentation of each harassment attempt was building a comprehensive record that would prove useful if legal intervention became necessary to stop Sophia's escalating campaign for unwanted contact. Sophia's financial desperation manifested Monday morning when my phone rang with an automated fraud alert from Chase Bank. Someone had attempted to use my backup credit card for a $1,800 charge at Serenity Springs Spa Resort followed by $1,400 in maternity clothes purchases at Nordstrom. The card was in my wallet, but Sophia had photographed both sides months ago when I'd asked her to grab it from my nightstand during a dinner emergency. She'd apparently memorized the numbers and security code, betting on my typical delayed response to checking credit card activity. The transactions were declined due to unusual spending patterns, the fraud specialist explained, but we've flagged your account for additional monitoring and will need you to confirm these were unauthorized attempts. I requested complete documentation of the attempted charges, including timestamps, merchant locations, and any security camera footage available from the stores. The evidence package would be forwarded to Austin Police Department's Financial Crimes Unit within 24 hours, creating an official paper trail of Sophia's escalating illegal behavior beyond simple harassment. Tuesday brought a knock on my office door from Detective Sarah Chen of APD's White Collar Crime Division, investigating Sophia's false police report claiming I'd stolen her laptop and a family heirloom necklace worth $2,400. Ms. Rodriguez filed a report yesterday alleging you removed personal property during an illegal eviction, Detective Chen said, reviewing her notes with professional skepticism. She's demanding we retrieve these items and press charges for theft. I pulled out my documentation folder, showing purchase receipts for my Dell laptop from 2019 and photos of Sophia's necklace clearly visible in the labeled boxes I'd packed. Here's my laptop purchase receipt and warranty information, I said, providing the detective with copies. And these photos show her necklace was packed with her other jewelry in box number 3, which she retrieved from the building lobby last Thursday. The building's security footage confirmed Sophia had collected all her boxes without complaint, signing the property release form Maria had prepared. Detective Chen reviewed my documentation with growing irritation at having her time wasted on obvious false allegations designed to harass rather than recover stolen property. It appears Ms. Rodriguez has also filed similar complaints against a Derek Martinez regarding emotional distress and abandonment, Detective Chen continued. The pattern suggests someone using police reports as harassment tools rather than legitimate law enforcement requests. She closed her notebook with visible frustration. We'll be noting this pattern in our system and recommending no further reports be processed without substantial evidence. Sophia's shotgun approach to involving law enforcement was backfiring spectacularly, creating official records of false reporting that would damage her credibility in any future legal proceedings. Wednesday brought a certified letter from my attorney, Benjamin Foster of Foster & Associates, confirming he'd sent comprehensive cease and desist letters to Sophia, Emma, Linda, and Derek. The letters detailed each instance of harassment, unauthorized building access attempts, credit card fraud, and false police reports, demanding all contact cease immediately or face legal action for stalking, defamation, and attempted fraud. The documentation you provided creates a compelling case for restraining orders if this behavior continues, Ben explained during our phone consultation. The credit card fraud alone is a felony charge we can pursue if needed. The legal pressure was already generating results. Emma called my office that afternoon, her yoga instructor calm completely replaced by panic. Jake, I didn't know about the credit card thing or the fake police reports, she said, clearly trying to distance herself from Sophia's more serious legal violations. I was just trying to help my sister through a difficult time. I won't contact you again, I promise. This has gotten way out of hand. Smart of her to recognize when family loyalty crossed into criminal conspiracy territory, especially since her teaching career required maintaining a clean background check. Derek's situation was deteriorating faster than expected. Through LinkedIn connections in Austin's tech community, I learned his colleagues at the cybersecurity firm were discussing the sympathy card incident and questioning his judgment about mixing personal drama with professional environments. His supervisor had apparently asked him to explain why personal mail marked urgent was being delivered to his desk, creating awkward conversations about maintaining appropriate workplace boundaries. The professional consequences of our interconnected tech community were amplifying the sympathy card's impact beyond what I'd originally anticipated, damaging his reputation among people who valued discretion and mature judgment. By Thursday, Sophia's harassment had completely ceased, replaced by an eerie silence that suggested the legal consequences were finally penetrating her desperation-driven decision-making. Or perhaps she was simply regrouping for a different strategy that would require constant vigilance to detect and counter effectively. My sympathy card strategy had generated far more chaos in Derek's professional life than I'd anticipated when I selected that elegant cream-colored stationery. Within a week of delivery, Austin's tight-knit cybersecurity community was buzzing with gossip about Derek's personal situation, affecting his workplace professionalism. His colleagues at TechGuard Solutions had apparently connected the dots between the mysterious urgent personal mail, his recent distracted behavior, and rumors about complicated relationship drama involving pregnancy announcements. The word around town is that Derek Martinez is dealing with some serious personal issues that are affecting his work performance, my former colleague Marcus told me during a coffee meeting downtown. Marcus worked at a competing firm but maintained connections throughout Austin's tech scene. His team lead asked him directly about the personal mail situation, and Derek apparently got defensive and refused to explain. That's not the kind of judgment you want from someone handling cybersecurity protocols. The professional damage was spreading organically through networking events and industry meetups where reputation mattered more than technical skills. Derek's long-term girlfriend Rachel had discovered the pregnancy situation through office gossip rather than direct communication from Derek, which created an additional layer of betrayal in his personal life. Rachel worked as a nurse practitioner at St. David's Medical Center and had apparently confronted Derek after hearing secondhand information about him fathering a child with a coworker. She packed up and moved out the same day, Marcus continued with obvious relish for the drama. Took their dog and left Derek dealing with the apartment lease alone. Word is she's telling people Derek was cheating for months and lying about it. The professional consequences escalated when Derek requested a transfer to TechGuard's Dallas office, citing personal circumstances requiring relocation. His supervisor interpreted the sudden transfer request as confirmation that Derek's Austin situation was too problematic to resolve locally. The cybersecurity field valued stability and good judgment above technical expertise, and Derek's apparent inability to manage his personal life without affecting his professional environment raised serious questions about his suitability for sensitive security work that required discretion and mature decision-making. Meanwhile, Sophia found herself caught between two men who wanted absolutely nothing to do with her or the pregnancy she'd announced so dramatically via social media. Derek was actively avoiding her calls and had blocked her on all platforms while negotiating his Dallas transfer to escape the situation entirely. Her Instagram posts shifted from confident pregnancy announcements to vague complaints about fake people and men who don't take responsibility for their actions. The hiking group that had originally connected all three of us dissolved completely when members learned about the infidelity and subsequent drama that had destroyed the group's comfortable social dynamic. I heard Sophia's been trying to contact Derek through his coworkers since he blocked her everywhere else, Marcus reported during our follow-up conversation. She showed up at TechGuard's office last week asking to speak with him about urgent family matters, but security wouldn't let her upstairs without his permission. The desperation of showing up at Derek's workplace demonstrated how completely her support systems had collapsed once the reality of single motherhood became unavoidable and both potential fathers had eliminated themselves from consideration. The hiking community's reaction was particularly brutal for someone like Sophia who'd built her social identity around outdoor activities and group adventures. Nobody wants that kind of drama in their weekend plans, explained Jennifer, the group organizer who'd been coordinating our hiking activities for 2 years. We're there to enjoy nature and exercise, not deal with relationship explosions and paternity confusion. The whole situation made everyone uncomfortable, so we just stopped organizing group hikes entirely. Sophia's betrayal had cost her not just romantic relationships but the entire social network she'd cultivated around shared outdoor interests and weekend activities she genuinely enjoyed. The symmetry was perfect. Her impulsive decision to announce the pregnancy via Instagram had created a cascade of consequences that systematically eliminated every support system she'd relied on, leaving her isolated with the very responsibility she dramatically revealed while destroying the relationships that might have provided assistance during such a challenging life transition. Sophia's desperation reached peak toxicity when she launched a public social media campaign designed to paint me as heartless for abandoning a pregnant woman. Her Instagram story featured carefully staged photos of pregnancy vitamins and ultrasound images with captions like, "Some men run when things get real," and "Building my baby's future without fake support." The strategy backfired immediately when mutual friends started asking questions about the timeline and paternity situation, forcing Sophia to either admit the truth about Derek or maintain lies that became increasingly difficult to sustain under scrutiny from people who knew our relationship history. "Wait, you're saying Jake abandoned you but the baby isn't his?" asked our mutual friend Casey during a group text conversation I'd been screenshotted. "That doesn't make any sense, Sophia. Why would Jake have responsibility for another man's child?" The logical inconsistencies in Sophia's victim narrative crumbled when exposed to basic questioning from people who understood that relationship responsibilities don't extend to supporting ex-partners through pregnancies resulting from infidelity. Her carefully crafted sympathy campaign transformed into awkward explanations about complicated situations that made her sound delusional rather than wronged. Emma's panic escalated into workplace harassment when she showed up at my office building Wednesday morning, demanding the security desk call me for an urgent family emergency meeting. Building security followed protocol by offering to take a message rather than disturbing tenants for unscheduled visits, which triggered Emma into a yoga instructor meltdown about corporate callousness and family values. "This is exactly the kind of toxic masculine behavior that's destroying our society," she lectured the security guard, apparently believing that spiritual wellness credentials qualified her to diagnose societal problems and demand access to private office buildings. The security footage of Emma's lobby meltdown became legendary among building staff, who dealt with their share of relationship drama but rarely witnessed someone invoke chakras and toxic masculinity while demanding to speak with a manager about visitor policies. She started talking about energy blockages and masculine healing after we explained she needed an appointment, Maria told me with obvious amusement. Then she asked if our security desk had sage for cleansing negative workplace vibrations. We had to escort her out when she refused to leave without speaking to you directly. The incident generated a formal complaint with Austin Police Department for harassment and trespassing. Linda's involvement reached nuclear levels when she contacted my parents directly, having somehow obtained their phone number through social media research or mutual acquaintance investigation. "Linda Rodriguez called your mother yesterday. My dad informed me during our weekly check-in call. She wanted to discuss your obligation to support Sophia through her pregnancy and suggested we raised you without proper family values. Your mother hung up on her after about 30 seconds. My parents' complete support for my decision provided additional validation that normal people understood the difference between abandonment and refusing to enable someone's consequences for infidelity. The situation peaked when Sophia attempted to attend Austin Tech Summit, our industry's annual conference where I'd been scheduled to present on software architecture trends. Security footage from the convention center showed Sophia attempting to enter the restricted attendee area using someone else's badge, claiming she needed to deliver urgent personal documents to conference participants. The event coordinators recognized her from the description I'd provided to conference security and escorted her from the premises before issuing a formal trespass warning that would prevent her from attending future industry events. She told security you were expecting important papers about your relationship, explained David Park, the conference coordinator who'd handled the incident. When we asked her to provide identification and explain her connection to the event, she became increasingly agitated and claimed discrimination against pregnant women. We have strict policies about unauthorized attendees, especially when they're attempting to access restricted areas using fraudulent credentials. The incident created an official record of trespassing that supported my attorney's recommendation to pursue a restraining order for escalating harassment behavior. Derek's employer took unprecedented action when Sophia's workplace harassment extended to calling TechGuard Solutions directly and demanding to speak with Derek about urgent family matters regarding employee responsibilities. Her calls to Derek's workplace created liability concerns for his employer, who needed to protect their employees from harassment while maintaining professional boundaries about personal issues. The company informed Derek that continued personal drama affecting the workplace would result in termination, Marcus reported through our network connections. They can't have employees dealing with this level of chaos while handling sensitive cybersecurity contracts. The following Friday, my attorney received confirmation that Travis County had approved a temporary restraining order against Sophia, Emma, and Linda, prohibiting any form of contact or attempted contact with me through any medium for the next 6 months, with violations subject to immediate arrest and criminal prosecution, effectively ending their harassment campaign through legal enforcement of boundaries they'd refused to respect voluntarily. 3 months after Sophia's Instagram pregnancy announcement detonated our 4-year relationship, the aftermath had settled into a pattern of systematic consequences that validated every strategic decision I'd made during the crisis. Sophia had relocated back to Houston with her parents after Derek successfully transferred to TechGuard's Dallas office and eliminated all contact with her through corporate lawyers who negotiated minimal child support obligations while maintaining strict no-communication policies. Her Instagram posts revealed a woman struggling with the reality of impending single motherhood while maintaining a victim narrative that blamed everyone except herself for the situation she'd created through infidelity and poor judgment. The paternity test confirmed Derek's the father, but he's negotiating everything through attorneys now, Marcus updated me during our monthly coffee meeting. Word is he's paying bare minimum child support but refusing any personal involvement with Sophia or the pregnancy. She's been posting about deadbeat fathers and men who don't take responsibility, but everyone knows the actual story by now. Derek's legal strategy of complete disengagement while meeting minimal financial obligations demonstrated the difference between legal responsibility and personal relationship investment, leaving Sophia to navigate pregnancy and future parenthood essentially alone. My restraining order had created a zone of complete silence around any contact attempts from Sophia's family network, with Linda apparently consulting her own attorney about the legal implications of continued harassment charges. The legal consequences really sobered them up, my attorney Ben explained during our quarterly review meeting. Once people realize that harassment charges create permanent criminal records that affect employment and housing applications, they usually develop sudden respect for boundaries. The systematic documentation of their escalation had provided sufficient evidence for law enforcement to take the restraining order seriously and enforce it consistently. Sophia's social media presence had devolved from confident pregnancy announcements to bitter inspirational quotes about resilience, single motherhood, and toxic masculinity that revealed her struggle with accepting responsibility for consequences she'd created through her own choices. Her posts showed someone trying to maintain a positive public image while privately dealing with the isolation that resulted from systematically destroying every relationship that might have provided support during a challenging life transition. Comments from friends and followers gradually decreased as people grew tired of drama that never seemed to resolve into personal growth or accountability. Meanwhile, my life had transformed in unexpectedly positive directions once freed from the emotional and logistical burden of managing someone else's chaos. I renovated the loft completely, removing all traces of Sophia's aesthetic preferences and installing the state-of-the-art home office setup I'd been planning for years. The space now reflected my actual priorities: clean lines, functional furniture, advanced technology infrastructure, and room for the freelance consulting business that was generating substantial additional income beyond my regular software architect salary. The apartment felt like home for the first time since Sophia had moved in and cluttered it with her expensive succulents and lifestyle optimization equipment. The professional isolation I'd anticipated from severing connections with Austin's hiking community had actually opened opportunities for new activities more aligned with my technical interests. I joined a local makerspace focused on robotics and 3D printing, connected with other software professionals through industry meetups that emphasized skill development over social networking, and started contributing to open-source projects that provided intellectual satisfaction without relationship drama. The time and mental energy previously spent managing Sophia's emotional needs was now invested in pursuits that generated measurable progress toward career and personal development goals. Derek's situation had deteriorated exactly as my sympathy card strategy intended, with his reputation in Austin's cybersecurity community permanently damaged by the perception that he lacked professional judgment and personal integrity necessary for sensitive security work. Nobody wants to hire someone who creates workplace drama and handles personal situations so poorly, Marcus confirmed through our industry connections. His Dallas transfer looks more like exile than promotion, and everyone knows the real reason he had to leave Austin. The elegant precision of delivering formal condolences to his workplace had generated consequences that would follow Derek throughout his career in the interconnected cybersecurity field where reputation mattered more than technical skills alone. 6 months after that Instagram message detonated our relationship, I was living exactly the life I'd designed. Professionally successful, personally fulfilled, completely free from drama, and surrounded by people who valued competence over chaos, proving that systematic thinking and strategic boundaries could transform betrayal into liberation when applied with methodical precision and unwavering commitment to protecting your own interests above all other considerations.